So, this illustration contains one fundamental error, but my question remains. Do you allow your brain to do its job? The time it takes for your brain to form an ID is determined from a series of variables. Information are pointers, and an ID and a memory are different, first of all in the nature of what they are, but also how they're stored. Or if. See, here's the thing. The brain is maybe the most complex machinery in the entire universe, and you might be laughing at this, but we'll be testing your memory in a little bit, so I recommend paying attention. A memory is an actual record of an event, ignoring false positives for now. An ID is only a thought. However, IDs can be treated as if a memory, and vice versa. Oversimplifying, left side brain handles logic, right side creativity. But neither one can live without the other. There's a wire of nerves dedicated entirely to communication across the two. And that's great, because prior to the age of understanding anything, left side is still vital for brain development. If the brain was a map, a location would be information without looking anything up. That's what the brain is for. But how much time you need to dig is entirely up for yourself. What is the capital of England? And you would go, or 46 plus 97 equals. A map can zoom out to cover more area, and so can your brain. But that's where the road splits, because watching a video about it does not add anything to your brain. The forgetting rate for new information is up to 90% within 24 hours. Thus, work and effort is what differ top-level students from the rest. In fact, brain stimuli is so important that it's actually healthy to be bored. When I think about it, this is where I need to pause for effect. What is 97 plus 46? Work and effort is good for two reasons. Avoiding to go through a manual for everything we do every time, because if that was the case, and a learning curve can never reach the end, because while knowledge expands, so does the field it's in. The human memory is divided into short-term and long-term. Short-term might be limited to the number of things it can hold. Just try and see how many of these you can remember. But neither one are limited in size. You see where this is going. So the time it takes an ID to form can be significantly reduced if you chunk things together. If reality is a series of events, that be how information gets into the mind in the first place. Gravity makes things fall. Capital of England is London. Drawing of a banana, real banana. Human gesture, 2 plus 2 equals 4, and so on. Different types of data, so connected that the tiniest spark can make your mind wonder. This is called an association, but there is a bit more to it than that. Our understanding of reality requires a shared sense from which we can start to build, like symbols. Put together in the right order, as in the right order, eventually becomes language. Language be the name of the method used to communicate. Otherwise, how would you even understand what that means? An association, then, is the label for the sensation we get when B because A, or Y because X, or sensory information over time is literally how memories becomes chunks. They taught computers to do that a while back. Imagine if you can get your brain to do the same. Brainwaves runs on different frequencies. This explains why some memories are easier to recall, and thus how much work you need to do in the aftermath. Repetition at its best includes explaining things to yourself because it stimulates the brain to discover patterns. Patterns are so embedded in the human mind that we see them even when they're not there. Still, if you find it weird to be talking with yourself, it might help to know that the brightest minds in history have been known for just that. Concentration equals automation plus circumstance, including time, and personal state of mind, including yes, it's worth it. What is 46 plus 97? This equation isn't difficult. The increments for when to repeat expands in time, because the memory is being stored and it's being stored faster. That's because the brain is actively hunting rather than being fed. Difficult isn't the problem here. Difficult is the opinion from those who lack the knowledge and the patience to dig into it. If advertisement can be designed to make us buy things. When I did my undergrad, I covered a sports magazine scheduled to air a week after principal photography. Add to this 3 exams and a 9-hour jet lag, this still wasn't enough to complain. The last thing we need to talk about is how to make good notes. And the reason we need to talk about notes is because the camera on your phone saves you from having to even type. You see where this is going. If words are what a sentence is made of, or have you ever marked a full sentence, how do you expect the brain to deal with all that? See if you can figure out what this is about. Feel free to pause the video. You get it, right? See how much stuff is in here that we don't need. If you give yourself limitations, if I don't remember this, then I cannot watch Simon's videos when I get home, and that should give you more than enough motivation. Now, of course, some of you might say that if I am my own master, I can bend these rules as I want. But if that's you, then you're either watching this for entertainment, or you're too lazy, or both. If you want to get good at something, you have to be willing to take risks, and you have to be willing to make mistakes. Because otherwise, how will you ever catch an error? The real reason for why we don't remember is actually more likely that information never made it to long-term memory in the first place. I'm gonna let that sink in for a bit. So, going full circle, the time it takes for your brain to form an ID is the product of your own efforts to do the work, even when you're having time off. This ultimately brings us to the sleep cycle, but, and no kidding, that one is better off as its own episode. Okay, your turn. And like I promised, who's the joker now, huh? But why don't you hit pause and make a summary of this video, and see if yours is better than mine. And I know what you're thinking, but I gotta level with you here, because that summary right there was written before the script was completed. So you do actually have the upper hand here. Find a piece of paper and a pen, and write down what you remember from this video. Focus can work in our favor if we know where to look, and the brain will continue to work as long as we let it. Thanks for watching.